What we have done really is to collaborate to ensure that every child below the age of 5, particularly in vulnerable areas, get the oral polio vaccine when we do our campaigns, and also when these children are born and they are taken to health centers to have their routine immunization. Advocate to also Rotarians, because they form the large bulk of our volunteers, to create enough awareness amongst ourselves, so that we can promote it in our communities for mothers and caregivers to take their children for routine immunization, and also to make their children accessible when we do our house-to-house immunization exercise, which we do quite regularly. When we go out on immunization exercise, occasionally families are a little bit reluctant to have their children immunized. Polio survivors form part of our team to show themselves as an example of what happens if a child is not immunized. We also have groups like Journalists Against Polio, who help us to disseminate the need to have children immunized. One of our major tasks, of course, is that we relate to the government. The federal government has the Presidential Task Force on Immunization. We are on that task force, so are our partners, WHO, UNICEF, CDC, and the Gates Foundation. And that is the main national body that looks at what the issues are, profiles solution. And the administrative arm of that is our Emergency Operating Center that I mentioned earlier, that looks into what the issues are. That has helped to keep us on track to make sure that polio is eradicated. As long as there's polio in any part of the world, we have to continue immunizing our children. A large bulk of our expenditure comes from governments, not only governments in parts of the world where we still have polio, like Nigeria and Afghanistan and Pakistan, but governments around the world. The Nigerian government, have risen up to the task also of making a sizable amount of funds in excess of 9 billion naira available in this year alone to combat the disease. So those are the main prongs, that we follow. It is estimated that if we eradicate polio by next year, we would be saving between now and 2025, $50 billion. Now that amount of money can now be expended in tackling other health issues apart from other social issues like education, maternal, and child, health and so on. So there's no argument about the very important need for us to eradicate polio now rather than wait till later. Since the last 30 years, we've been expending, money, we've been extending human hours and human resource in advocacy, in creating awareness, in funding to ensure that the job is done. And we'll continue doing that until the world is certified polio-free.